All right. So the last sort of segment I wanted to do was just have your takes on the budget and tax bill increases that have been made for the next 3 years. For viewers, that's basically the State Duma have agreed on what the the Russian government is going to spend on and how much. So, for example, the government expects to spend about $491 billion next year, and of that, revenue, sorry, of 491 billion and spending of about 548. So that's a deficit of about $47 billion. Of that, national security and defense is almost 40%. So $209 billion will be spent on the military alone, which, as we've discussed before, Konstantin, has no trickle-down effect. What I mean by that is that all that money being spent on tank, RPGs, munitions, drones, things that are going to be damaged or completely destroyed in the war, it's not going to benefit the long-term supply side of the economy. So what do you, I mean, I can go into it further, but have you read it? What are your thoughts initially? Take me through.
I'm keeping my eyes on the Russian budget. One of those things of a great interest to me. It defines how Russia is going to be operating economically and financially in the next year. This budget is for the following 3 years, but then forget about 27 and 28. We are concentrating on the 26 because I think it's going to be the detrimental year for Russia. This is all going to end in 2026, one way or another. But budget, actually nothing unusual for me, unexpected. Just as we started this conversation, I told you that Russian economy is very simple to explain. Russia is spending so much more than it's earning. And it's earning increasingly less, and it's spending increasingly more. It's been done for 3 years now, and this budget for 2026 just is another step in the same direction. Russia spends even more for not just on the military, but what it calls the security of the country. That's domestic security as well, not just the tanks and missiles and ammo in Ukraine, but also the video surveillance of the citizens, the riot police, the federal police, things like that, the KGB. That's a big part of the budget, and it's growing. So they are expecting some unrest at least. Okay, so they're allocating some money for that. And you're right, Russian does not produce anything that adds value to the economy. It produces death, basically. They produce missiles to fly over to Ukraine and just blow up and kill as many Ukrainians as they can. That's what they're doing. Things are not going well. That's where we started. Economically, this is what I call the demise. When you spend increasingly more and you earn increasingly less, what are you going to do? And that moment has come. Who's going to cover? Who is going to cover that gap in your bank account? I mean, this is very simple, and this is very crazy. Well, Russian government has one strategy to cover up the budget deficit, to patch up holes financially. That's printing money. And printing press has been red hot, okay? In just one day, they printed 1.5% of the entire GDP just a few days ago. That's what they're doing. I mean, Pyotr, you are a highly educated expert on the economy. You know exactly what is going to follow. The hyperinflation, and it's like a big wave. It's going to just destroy everything in Russia, okay? On top of other things bad that are already happening. So they're printing money like crazy. And the latest I heard, it's not confirmed, but there are rumors, and you know what they say about rumors. Russia has currently a lot of reserves in gold, physical gold, 2,300 metric tons. They started selling the gold. That's the only thing they have left. There's nothing more, except for the printing press. They can print money. But again, this is not confirmed, but there are rumors. And they cannot sell gold in large quantities because it's sanctioned. Everyone is banned from buying Russian gold. So they can sell it in smaller quantities in a gray market, so to speak, with a discount. Okay? So that's something to watch. So Russian budget just shows us it doesn't bring us anything new. It shows us that the picture is bad and it's getting worse. It's going to be much, much worse in 2026. That's all.
That's interesting, actually. I'm just looking up here. The Moscow Times has reported that, yeah, they've started selling it. But also, I mean, correlation doesn't equal causation, but gold price has begun to dip also because of the US's federal shifts on interest rates or cut expectations fall. So, could we say that if the Russians are going to try to maybe not flood, but increase the availability of gold on the market, that could affect the overall price of it? That'd be interesting.
I don't think that's going to be a global grant. I don't think the Russians cannot sell much gold at the same time because it's sanctioned. It's going to be hush-hush. Yeah, it's hush-hush, Just like they're selling diamonds. Do you know how Russia is selling diamonds now? I have an inside information. I know for sure.
Give us the insider spiel.
That's one company in Russia. It's called Alrosa, okay? And it's huge. It's like De Beers, that Russian equivalent. Mm-hmm. And they cannot sell diamonds legally. So they fill up suitcase of diamonds and they send one person with guards, put them on the plane. They fly to Dubai and they sell to Indian buyers. And the Indians mix it with other diamonds. Of course, they pay much less than market price. Russians sell at big discounts, obviously. But is this a normal trade? I don't think so. I think that same way they're going to be selling gold, more or less. Okay, and again, at big discount. So I don't think that's going to have huge impact on global gold prices, global gold market.
No, I don't think so either, but it's just interesting to note what the broader global market trends are doing around gold, given the hikes it's been seeing in the past few months. So also in the budget, lawmakers have been looking to highlight that they're funding more domestic programs, including 125 billion or something for family support measures, and also 623 million for charity foundations that assist soldiers fighting in Ukraine. So how much is this Russia really trying to plug the back gap, in the sense of they're trying to put a band-aid on the issue without addressing the actual issues? What's your thoughts on the other sort of areas of priority that the government wants to spend on?
I know what they're doing. They're looking at every single item that requires state financing, and they're trying to cut costs as much as they can. Everything must go. And then on the other hand, they're trying to get as much money from Russian people and the companies as possible. They're tightening fiscal policy. There are new taxes, VAT, value-added tax. Today, they just signed the law that starting January 1st, it goes by 10%, well, by 2%, but that's 10% increase of the tax from 20% to 22%. Then they increase new car sale utilization tax twice, December 1st and then January 1st. That nearly doubles cost of a brand new car sold in Russia starting December 1st. Really an avalanche of different fines, big and small, all kinds of fines. For example, now, if you hit a pigeon with your car, you pay hefty fine. And if you hit a flock of pigeon, yes.
What?
Piotr, welcome to Russia, 2025. Listen, your reaction was perfect. You didn't believe me. You said, what? Yes, that is true. And then very few people know about that. But that's the reality of Russia. If you hit a pigeon, there's a new law that you pay, don't quote me, I don't remember, but a hefty fine. And if you hit a flock of pigeons with your car, 2 years in prison and a hefty fine. Okay. Yes, I know. And you know what? You are a very normal man. Your reaction is of a very normal person. Okay. Disbelief. And you're right. But this is what Russia is today. Your reaction is exactly right.
Well, I mean, in the UK equivalent, I'm just thinking of the equivalent. In the UK, you'll be severely reprimanded if you attack seagulls. And also swans, because swans are protected by the crown. I think you'd be in prison for that. But pigeons, they're rats with wings in many people's eyes. Sorry, that's too funny to even
I have my own personal theory. I think that they're going to reestablish pigeon mail in Russia because Russian post mail, like post service, is not
It's
functioning
collapsed.
well. So the next pigeon mail. So that's why they're trying to preserve pigeons.
The pigeon couriers are making a comeback, yeah. Or maybe they're just for food, right? The lack of food available, protein, that they need the pigeons.
I haven't thought
Although
of
they're
that
just
one.
full of
That's a
air,
good
right?
one.
Pigeons are not exactly big.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
Is it?
Our
What do we reckon, guys?
conversations
Drop a comment
conversations
below.
are becoming
Actually, do we
quite
reckon
something.
this is? Do we reckon this is pigeon? Is this for nourishment or for mail delivery? Take your picks below. Drop a comment below which one. Or maybe you've got a third option. What's another option? The pigeons.
Great.
You see, this is why we do
Great.
these monthly episodes, Konstantin. It's
Going back to the fines, that they're trying to come, well, they have come up with an avalanche of different fines. I cover some of them, the most crazy ones, in my Friday crazy news reviews updates that I do every week. So, and I covered the pigeon news, a few weeks back. I think a month back or so.
Pigeon news. Can you quote that? Can you put that on a T-shirt, please? I think I would buy that. We should start
Pigeon
selling
news.
merch on the
Excellent.
channels. We should collaborate on channel merch. I think everyone would love a T-shirt or hat or mug with that on it.